Six of these guys, and this is the one today is on hospitality. So the hospitality business and what I call coaching for the hospitality business, right? So that we'll spend the next 30, maybe 45 minutes kind of going through, some of the nuggets of wisdom that I've learned from other people. Being in the hospitality industry for like 25, 30 years, there's at the highest levels, right? So, I was fortunate enough to be part of an incredible team in Sydney, running clubs and bars there. One of our businesses was voted number 3 in the world. That was astonishing. Managed to do over 2,000 plus events that have attracted 1.5 million people. This is offline, so not including the online numbers, also within that have built communities, small communities to very large communities of, thousands and much bigger than that. So what I'd like to share today, and don't forget as well, the most recent incarnation, contributing to, in a very strong way, driving the direction of a shopping mall. It's the first lifestyle shopping, lifestyle, family-focused, edutainment shopping retail complex here in Bali, in Canggu, called Temora Gallery, that you would probably know if you're here in Bali, Indonesia. So now the point of this, we're in Bali right now, and obviously Bali is hugely dependent upon the hospitality industry. And obviously with less tourism, it's been severely impacted, and there's been a lot of people pivoting. But at the same time, there's also been, a lot of people, redirecting, repivoting, working out, is the direction and course that we're on, the direction and course that's going to give us value, that's going to bring back income, that's going to give us something fulfilling to do. So today, the point of today is to give you a quick formula, which I call the 5 C's. And this formula, distilled over 25, 30 years, has been incredibly powerful, for businesses. If you're in nightclubs, if you're in bars, a lot of this will also transfer well to restaurants, cafes, right? So these are, for those of you who are watching, just some ideas. Maybe there's something that you're doing already. Maybe there's something that you haven't been doing that maybe this will give you a bit of a nudge, and at the end of it, we'll give you an opportunity, if you want to explore a relationship, maybe working together, consulting type of relationship, please feel free to reach out to me afterwards, right? So let's get started. So we're talking about the 5 C's. C, the word C, the letter C, that way for you guys watching. So I want to tap into the first one. Now the first one is what we call the concept. Now, the concept, we all have incredible ideas, right? We all have ideas that we believe are going to work, ideas that we believe are market tested, right? Ideas that because we thought of it is bound to work, right? Now, this doesn't always work out well, right? Unless it's a well-researched idea and the concept holds water. For example, Mark, someone I work very closely with, he beautifully puts it together in one piece. So if you're a restaurant, for example, what is that one dish? What is that one thing that you do extremely well that you can focus on and master that becomes your defining point of difference? Right. So, for example, in one of the properties which I consult to manage, there's one restaurant, Pho Tin, which all they do is just beef pho. That's all that they do. They do extremely well here in Broward. They do extremely well, and that's what they're known for. One dish. And these guys are killing the game. They're very, very busy. They're doing it right. Okay. So think of your business. If you're in restaurants, what is your one dish that you absolutely kill it in? You can have other dishes as well, but what is that one dish that is supreme? There's another one, right? So, Hello Nico. This is in Temora Gallery. Hello Nico, right? Greek Javanese concept. They have a lot of things on their menu, but the one thing that stands out to me as being exceptional is the lamb or the beef souvlaki. right? It's the best souvlaki, in Canggu, maybe even in Broward, and maybe even in Bali, right? It's supreme. What they do is amazing, right? So that's what you go there for. And another great friend, Safani, if you're watching this now, Canggu community. It's a community of 220,000 people here in Canggu that she started. Still is the captain of the ship. She loves her food, right? And if that dish is incredibly good, she will come back, she will promote it, she will eat it, she will share it with her friends. Like, it's something that she loves to do, right? So what is that, if you're a restaurant bar, what is that one thing that you do that sets you apart from everybody else? What is that one thing that you do that is heads and shoulders above anything else, the competition, if you want to call it that, anything else which is present in that same catchment area as you? Now, if you're a club, what is it that you do? What is it that defines you? Is it house music? Is it hip hop? Is it soul? Is it funk? What is it that you do? Because if you're trying to be everything to everyone, it doesn't work. If you have a concept that keeps on changing with the tide, right, in and out with the tide, chance of it working, very, very little, very, very slight. If you keep on adjusting and keep on pivoting all the time, the problem is, there's no continuity. So like this thing about concept goes a lot deeper into, not only, the bright idea that you come up with, but how are you executing it? If I come there one day, is the same service that I've got or that I receive going to be the same as I do the next day? Whether you, the owner, or you, the person driving it, are there or not. Is the way that people are received, the customer service level, is that continuous? The continuity, is that there? Is your training up to scratch? Do you have the capability, the staff, right, to deliver that continuous service, no matter what time or day or night that your customer comes in? Because at the end of the day, we all know that, we always go back to that place that we love, right? It may be like, the most, like Marina, my partner, doesn't have a go, but she always ridicules me a little bit because, I like what I like, and I keep going back to the same place. Or when I'm there, it's the same dish. I should change, I know, but I don't. I'm a creature of habit in many ways, and so are many other people. This creature of habit, this reliance upon, what is good is good. Milk and Madhu, right? There you go, Geordie and Pablo, love you boys, welcome. If you're watching, if you ever watch even a replay, extremely consistent service. So it's a place that that you can go, and you'll get that consistency every time. Right? So this consistency, this continuity, all of this works into your concept. The place, where are you? Is it a place that is visible to the public? Is it a place which is hidden from the public? Do you have a concept like a hidden underground bar that you want to be off the street? Is it a place where you need that daily eyes, the eye traffic? Is like, oh, I've got to go there. The daily foot traffic, the footfall. What concept is it, and what does it need, right? And once you define it, once you know what it is, and you've got that one thing that stands out above all else, and you have that continuous service, with continuity and focus. When you have that, and you have the staff and the training and the capability to execute that service on an ongoing basis, realizing that, like Antonio, business partner, we're always going to be business partners, but 15, 20 years, he was a guy, who had the concept and had the capability to drive it through. And I was, fortunate enough. I had the skills too in my area, which is PR, media, front of house, community building. That's what I bring to the equation. That was my secret sauce, still is today. We were able to combine together to create that elixir, which really was that we were able to continue it for an extended period of time. And we knew that with clubs that we could go for 10 years, right? So a lot of people here, believe that clubs can only last for 1 or 2 years. Not true. You go to Italy, you go to Spain, right? Ibiza, these places, Greece, right? These places have been going for more than 10 years. Right? Because at the end of the day, what we know is this. We know that there's a honeymoon period, which is going to be somewhere between 6 months and a year, depending how well you do it, how well you create that offer, how well you're able to market, and how you're able to bring those elements together, marketing, branding, PR, all of these elements together, service, right, defines how long that honeymoon period is going to last. And then we know with clubs that after that year and a half, then you're going to have that time where you're not the new kid in town anymore. And people are going to begin to search to other places, look other places. You know that the quality of the crowd that you had that was big money spenders, it's going to change. It's going to come down, right? And then you have an opportunity and a choice. But with clubs, what we know is that, and by the way, this is also true, for restaurants too, in many ways, right? For clubs, one of the biggest mistakes, which I keep on seeing, is that, you get to that point and you got that one night that's working. Maybe there's 2 nights. And you want to think, well, we can do more nights. No, because the minute you do that, then you begin to dilute what you have. So unless those nights are completely, entirely different, that tap into a completely different audience, like I'm talking completely different, right? And it's completely different use, you're just going to burn it out. So that honeymoon period I'm talking about, that year where you got the great, you got the great people, the beautiful people, the models, the business guys spending money who's coming to see this beautiful thing that they've got rolling, right? That begins to dissipate. Then you have an option. You have a choice to make. Number one, I've told you already, from where I come from, which has been very successful with clubs, is you don't keep on trying to expand the nights you do in one venue. You don't, because it doesn't work. And then, the next thing you do is that when you see, the minimum spend begin to drop, when you see that stuff begin to happen, you have a choice to make. Now, you can either relax your door policy, let more people in to keep that feeling of, it's packed, it's full, right? Which is really deceiving because the trend is downwards, but you're trying to give the fact that we're big and we're strong and we're packed all the time. Whereas what's needed here is a finesse, and that touches maintaining the quality, maintaining the ratio of girls and guys, maintaining the friendliness. By the way, we'll get into about the customer in a second, and we'll get into some of the pitfalls of clubs as well. But what we're saying here is that you need to hold tight, you need to hold strong. Right? You need to resist the temptation to expand and to do more nights and to do more clubs, right? And keep the quality and service at that high point. There'll be a 6-month period, maybe a bit longer for some of you, maybe a bit shorter for some of you, where that crowd will go away, will try other things, and those other venues will have their honeymoon period, but you've got to keep tight. And what happens then is that after the honeymoon period of other places will come back, will kind of transpire, then you'll get that crowd coming back. Now, when they come back, if they see, okay, maybe not so many people, but the quality is there, the music is there, the service is there, it's a good vibe, it's a good groove, then you'll get them back for another year or more. If you don't, and you make that classic mistake of trying to beef it up and trying to get more people in, and the ratio of guys and girls is way out, right? And you're already losing the business guys. When those guys come back, they're going to see that the quality has dropped immeasurably, and then that's going to give them the wrong taste in the mouth. And again, you're going to lose them again. Now, if you lead with an international DJ lineup and you rely heavily, on the international DJ lineup, unless you have a large venue and every week you're able to create, a super DJ, which I wouldn't recommend, what we're doing here is that we're creating a basic night which has all the hallmarks of quality, all the hallmarks of being a memorable night, a place you can go which is safe, a place you go where you can hang out and meet really cool, interesting people. You can go by yourself because it's going to be a great night. And the international is there to sprinkle a bit of fairy dust on top. It's not there as a main event. If you've got it as a main event, then your venue is already kind of going out. While the numbers are still high, your venue is already moving off in a different direction, right? Because you're not focused in the right areas. So these are some of the challenges that I see, and that people are not really paying attention to. So when you get that second wind in year 2 or year 3, you have the opportunity now to spin for another year or 2. This is where you start to adjust certain elements of your venue, just a few little retouches around the venue that people notice. So I can go deep down the rabbit hole with clubs. I'm not going to do that today unless you ask me to. So that first one is concept. All right. So just if you're tuning in now, my name's Robert Ian Bonnick. I'm like one of those hospitality experts who've been in the industry for a long time, 20, 30 years running clubs and bars and restaurants. And I come with a great deal of experience. This is a knowledge share. I've worked in the upper echelons of the industry. So what I'm doing, we're here in Bali, where we've been hit a lot by the hospitality decline, just because there's people aren't here, right, to that level extent. And this is a knowledge share, giving freely, so we can, we want to see things buoyant. We want to see people doing the right thing. We want to see quality. We want to see people going out when that time is due and people having good businesses. So that's why I'm sharing this. So number 1 is concept, 5 C's. Number 2 is your customer. So who is it that you want? Who is your ideal avatar? Whether you're a cafe, restaurant, bar, club, who is it that you want? If this is a general, we just want people. we want a good crowd. Okay, awesome. So what is a good crowd, right? Define it. Are you looking for, do you have a small venue and you're looking for quality and you want those disposable ABC ones or ABCs, right, who have got that and don't want to be surrounded by other people? They want to be surrounded by themselves. Are you working or creating like a bar that just attracts famous people, people that have a profile, people that are in the upper echelon? Are you creating a venue club-wise which is maybe for everybody, in a sense that you're going for the 18 to 35-year-old market, right? These guys are a mixed market. They're people which white collar, blue collar. These people they live in the local catchment. Or are you looking for people to draw outside of your local catchment? So all these things comes into the customer that you want. Are they music sensitive, right? Or are they more vibe sensitive? Do they enjoy going out and meeting new people? Like what do they do for a living? What kind of businesses are they involved in? Right? So all of these things, we start to define our customer and our market, right? And then we talk about like how we can, which I'll get into connection. We'll get into connection later. So this customer avatar that we're building up is really super important. And if you're, again, we had cafes, right? So and we managed some restaurants, but cafes mainly. So with cafes, what sort of crowd are you after? What times of the day? Is your audience moving around? Are they surfers who are based early morning? Are they, we had a great little cafe in Sydney called Social Laneway in Redfern, busy intersection right next to a train station, Redfern train station, very, very busy, thousands of people walking by every day, hundreds an hour. We knew that the morning time was our peak time, was our key time, where people are going to work. And the afternoon, you have that tail off, but then we have a lunchtime from the local offices around, people looking for lunch. So then we began to identify, what our customer was, what their habits were, where they were going. Do they have kids? Do they, are they dropping their kids off at school next door? Are there schools next door? All of this comes into your location, by the way. So what is your concept, right? What is your customer and certain things they have in common? And one of the greatest pieces of advice I got, which was cafe focused, was that once you have your concept, search for the location that fits your concept. Don't change your concept to fit the location. Right? I'll do that one again. So once you have your concept, cafe, once you have your concept, then what you want to do is find a location that fits your concept. Don't change your concept to fit the location, right? Because then it just keeps on evolving, changing, and then you end up at a place where you never intended to be in the first place, and the chances are that will be a watered down form of what you originally intended, and then you really are diminishing your opportunities to have success. Okay, so we've spoken about concept, customer. Now, again, I've got half an hour with you, right? That's why I'm kind of going fairly fast. But again, after this, if there's more information that you want, feel free to send me a DM. Today we're on YouTube Live, Instagram Live, Facebook Live. The group, Facebook, which is either SpeakuP Monday group, but actually this one's probably Turn Your Story into a Profitable Business and Brand. So turn your story into a profitable business and brand in that group. I'm very active. Also, my personal Robert Ian Bonnick. You can find me on all platforms. Send me a DM, and I'll be happy to get back to you. All right. So we've gone through concept briefly. We've gone through customer briefly. Now, combine. Now, this is about the team. So now, where we are, we still haven't built the venue yet, by the way. Right? We're in the pre-planning process. All this is pre-planning. Now, the combine is probably one of the most important areas not to be overlooked. This is a team. Right? This is the team. So as I mentioned before, Antonio Zambarelli, if you're watching this, ciao Zamba! Those who know us know that we did incredible things together because, we had an incredible team. And it was an incredible mix of elements. The concept dreamer who was able to drive it through, Antonio. With me, the role which I played was community builder, front of house, PR, media, that front person, the marketing, right? It's getting out to the people and bringing the people through, right? Then in one of our businesses, we had Paul Nikolarakis. Maybe he's watching this. Paul, Dr. Paul, he's actually a doctor. And Paul was incredible innovation, technicals, and bringing all those other elements together, the business aspect, to bring it together to ensure we had this well-rounded vision of the business. So ultimately now, this is about, structuring. This is about, there's a box, right? You've got several boxes, and this came from a conversation with Jan. Probably not watching this, but Jan, I love this analogy that you gave. So this is borrowed from you, mate. Always looking to upgrade. So it's about the boxes. It's about what is it that we need for this business to be successful. Now, each one is a box. Whether you have someone there or not is irrelevant. But you need to have the box there. Once you go through that box, then you know what you have and what you don't have. The elements that you're missing, the elements that you don't need. So what we're doing now is that we're looking now to fill those elements in those areas that we actually need. So now we're talking now at the upper echelon, at the upper level. We're talking about the partners. We're talking about the shareholders, or the active shareholders, right? So here, what we're looking for are those who have the experience, those who have the knowledge, same thing, but those who you can work with. So important. It's about getting to know the people, because this is a 5 to 10 year project. It's not a 1 or 2 year. Think long term, not short term. And so what are these energies? What are these people that they have around you? Are these people that you can hang with, right? I'm not saying you can be best friends with, but are these people that you can work with, right? Are these people that you have the feeling that have the business at the forefront of their mind? Or is it somewhere down the back? It's okay, but you need to know, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a bit like, what we used to say is circus, right? You have this, the trapeze. One guy doing this, one guy doing this. And now, when you've seen those, you remember at the circus, where one kind of jumps off and they do this, like somersaults or something, and then they catch onto the other one and they fly off in the other direction. That's a bit like business in the hospitality industry. Right? You need to know the people that you're surrounded with are going to catch you. Right, are going to catch you, because ultimately it's a seductive industry, whether it's a club, whether it's a bar, whether it's a cafe, whether it's a restaurant. You're going to be there interfacing with people a lot. And when you interface with people a lot, it's about the essence of who you are. Do you love what you do? Right? Because if you don't, you're in the wrong place. I love being around people, therefore, and my skill set really embodies that. So I love being around people. Don't get me wrong, I love being away from people too. I need my own time with my kids and my partner and all the rest of that. But I have the skills, I have the ability, I have the desire to be in that environment, because I connect people. I bring the best out of people. I'm able to raise the vibration of the people around me, the environment around me, whether that's a cafe, bar, club, doesn't matter. That's what I come in with. That's what I love doing. That's what I'm passionate about, right? So therefore, I'm good to be in that environment, in that role, right? Now, I know this sounds obvious to some of you, but so many times you see it missed. And you meet people and you meet teams that maybe you're advising, or I'm advising on things. And I look at them and I can see the dynamic and I can see the chemistry is off. And, it just depends, I have to tell them straight and say, say what I think. Because if you don't have those people, then you're wasting your time. So if you ask me to be like the numbers guy, be the guy who's going to be the accountant, I'm not the guy, right? I'm not, right? So if I'm in that role, kick me out, because it's not really my role. I have an understanding of numbers. I have an understanding of this thing, but it's not my natural way of being. So if I'm in that place for an extended period of time, it's probably not going to be the best place for someone like me to be. So this is where you need to look at your team and look at those involved, and what's always shiniest and brightest isn't always what's best. Right? This I can go on forever when it comes to selecting the team and those around you, and how to find out, if those people are on the same page as you or not. But that's probably not for today. That's a much deeper dive that we can do some other time. But again, you can DM me and we can connect about that. But it's super important to have those 3 things down. So if you're just tuning in on Instagram Live or something, so this is my Robert Ian Bonnick, hospitality. I've lived for a very long time and had great success with it. So today is about knowledge share, about those who are in cafes, restaurants, clubs and bars, right? And so what we're talking about now is the 5 C's that you must have in order to have the best chance to be successful. The first one is concept. The second one is your customer. We've been to the third one, which is a combination, which means your team. And number 4, we've spoken about already, which is continuity, and that continuity I involved in the concept. But the continuity is so important, right? That people, if I'm a customer, whether I come today, tomorrow, next week, next month, I get the same thing. I get the same vibe. I get the same feeling. I get the same service, the same attention to detail, no matter whose staff or which staff are there, I get the same feeling. I get the same vibe. I get the same groove, right? So this continuity is so important, and it really is a case of, we gravitate and we go back to the places where we feel is like Yeah, they're always on. They never miss. And it may not be the best place or the newest place or the shiniest place or the place with the best X or the best Y, but it's a place that is the most dependable. Because if I'm taking someone somewhere, I don't want to take a chance, do I? I want to make sure that to the best of my ability and the best of my knowledge, this place is going to fly. Right, and whenever I go there, it's going to be impactful. It's going to give me that lasting, beautiful experience that then I can say, you know what, that was great. It's always great there. So this is what we're looking for when it comes to continuity. Now, the fifth and final one is the one that I love the most. It's the one that I'm not saying is the most important, but it's the one that I love the most, right? And this is the connection to your community. Connection to your community. Now, we've spoken before about number 2, that was your customer. We spoke number 1, which was your concept. So this one here, which is linked to your customer. Now this one is super important. So now the customer has a community. So now when you link into your avatar, in other words, who is your customer? What do they do? What do they feel? What do they want to feel? When they go out, what is it that they want? They want to feel good. They want to feel confident. They want to feel like they're the man or the woman, right? They want to feel respected. They want to feel loved. They want to feel like, this is my place. I just feel good there. It's like when you buy a beautiful dress, like my partner Marina, Edit by Marina. Yes, that is a plug. Edit by Marina. She makes amazing dresses and clothing for women, right, and men actually, but women is what she's focused on. And her customers and clients, like these women, they feel so good in her clothes. And she sends me so many messages of like, look, this one said this, and it's beautiful to see. She loves what she does. She's very engaged, and it's her on the plate. All of her experience and years behind it. Now, this is what you want your customers to feel. You want them to feel special. Yeah, because we all want to feel special, right? At the end of the day, it goes back to the staff selection and the training behind what it is you offer, right? And how you incite and how you hire and how you retain and how you motivate. I don't really want to use the word motivate. Inspire is a much better word, because motivate means that I'm trying to push these guys up to be great. You don't want to do that, because then you're always having to motivate your staff. You don't want to do that. You want to inspire. So then they get that flame of inspiration within them and they're going to run with it, whether you're there or not. That's what you want. Otherwise, you're then a slave to your business. But anyway, community and connection to your community. Now, one of the biggest mistakes which I see with clubs, just focus on clubs for a minute there, is, and I've seen it here in Canggu. Maybe you're going to know who I'm talking about. Maybe you won't, but I'm not going to mention them. I don't need to. Is this PR team. So one thing which I did extremely well and do extremely well is create teams, create that vibe and that spark within a team to create an outcome that is far greater than the sum of its parts. I'll say it again, creating an outcome that's far greater than the sum of its parts. So the way which I can define that, it's a bit like this, right? So 1 + 1 equals what? Okay, 2. Awesome. For those of you there, will probably say 3, right? So 1 + 1 equals 3, all right? But what I'm talking about now is that 1 + 1 equals a window. What do you think about window? How's that? A window. 1 + 1 equals a window. Okay, that's your window. And so what we're doing now is that we're creating a window of infinite possibility. That's how you want your PR team to operate. And I could deep dive on this topic for a long time. But for now, let's just put it this way. So the key thing, we'll stick with clubs for now, but restaurants is the same, right? Cafe is the same, but in slightly different forms. I love clubs because they're a great analogy, and what works in clubs can spin off and work in restaurants and cafes and bars as well. So the PR team my preference, personal preference, is that the PR team is created from within. What do I mean by within? So what I love doing in any population, in any community, right, you find shepherds and you find sheep. I'm not downplaying either, because both are as important as one another. But the shepherds are people who are able to move other people. For example, hairdressers, right? Most hairdressers that I know, which are really good, they've got a positive energy. The glass is half full, right? It's a bit like this shirt that I'm wearing, like they're vibrant, they're effervescent. They have this beauty about them that draws people to them. They're like a vortex. It's people that make you feel good about yourself. It's people that you feel good around. Right? It's people who know the art that we have one of these and two of these, right? They know it, right? And they have this magnetism, this dynamism, right? And they can just attract people. Now these guys here may not have on their head, I want to be a PR for your nightclub, right? May not have that on their head, but these are the ones that you need. Right? And they come in different shapes and sizes and guises. It's not always the models, right? It's not always the hairdressers either. Like, these guys you can meet anywhere. At the supermarket, at the bank, right? In another restaurant. Oops, did I just say stealing stuff? No, I didn't say that, right? It could be at the beach. It could be, like in Europe, in Italy, when I was working in Italy, like it was, some of the guys who used to work at the beach, would just have this happy-go-lucky spirit about them. And these guys would be the guys who'd be renting out the beds during the day to all the people. Great PR guy, great PR girl. Why? Because they're shepherds. They impact people and have the opportunity to move and drive people in different directions. And that direction could be towards your club, your business. So what you want to do is that you want to create relationships with some of these people here. Now, some of them are going to be into it, some of them are not. Right? But this comes back down to the value of what you have to offer. And clubs for me were a space where I can go and dance, are a space where I know that any one person, right, I can go by myself and I'll meet some quality people. Because there was somebody there who was that person, the MC, the master of ceremonies that would introduce me to somebody else. Right? Hey, Mary, have you met this guy? Now, let me give you like a tip. So, in the height of our days, right? The height of our days. So this is what I used to do, right? So, I would be the guy on the street, maybe going to a business, engaging the owner, the staff. Boom, you see me there. Then it would be eventually, these people would then say, you know what, I want to organize a guest list, I want to go to that club. So then they'll give an email to the card they had. The email would come through to me. I'd organize a guest list. Oh, that guy again. Then they would come to the front door. Now, I was a guy who was also at the front door all the time. All the time, right? And it'd be like, because remember, when people come to front door of a club, they're most exposed, most vulnerable, especially when they've got a group of people with them. Then it's like, well, I know this guy. He came into my shop. Here's the guy I organized the guest list with. So it's not going to be the guest list gets lost. Remember those ones? Oh, we can't find your name, right? Horrible experience. Horrible. Then it's like, it's that guy again. Bang, we're in. Straight up. Straight in. Right? And then later on a night, I'll be the guy, I come from a dance background, I love music. So then, you see this guy dancing crazy or whatever, and it'll be like, isn't that the same guy I used to come to? So now you've got all this going on. Not only that, I was the guy who's introducing you, because I know who you are, to somebody else who I know you get along with. So over the years, remember, 1.5 million people. That's who I personally touched, right? For that 15-year period in those clubs and events that I put on, right? Offline, not even talking about online now. So a lot of people, right, now during this time of COVID, you're like, 1.5 million people, hugging all those people. But the point I'm trying to make to you is it's the discipline, the focus, the strategy, the concept. The people that you know naturally get to do that thing really well because that's who they are. You know, one of our best PR guys is a guy, Adam, who might be watching this. Looks a bit like Jim Morrison. Was from the country in Australia. Beautiful energy. Like just people, you just feel so comfortable in this guy's presence. You trust him straight away. This is a guy who's trainable, teachable, coachable. They're your guys, right? So you create your own PR team. Do not outsource it to somebody else. One of my good mates here in Bali, I'm not going to mention his name, you know who I'm talking about, is a guy who for the last 3 or 4 years has made a great living, and he works really hard, so I'm happy for him, moving around to different venues. But what actually happens is this. I'll take him out of the equation for now. What happens is this. So if you use someone like that, they're making and building their network off of your venue. So then when the time comes where you invariably part ways, and they take that network to the next venue, and then the next venue, and then the next venue. So it becomes the highest bidder, right? Bit of again, I'm not downplaying it. I'm not. But what I'm saying to you is create your own team that's loyal to you. It takes longer. It is harder to do. But we're talking about longevity now, right? Because I know 2 venues which this guy worked at, and they were there. He was there, and then he moved on to the next one, and those venues then got quieter, right? But they still didn't learn their lesson. Now they're trying to find the next one and the next one. The next guy is going to bring them people. Big mistake, huge mistake, huge. Create your own team. Yeah, it takes skill. Yeah, it takes knowledge. Yes, it takes experience, right? Yes, sometimes it's a pain in the butt, right? Because you need to be there with them. You need to be around them. You need to feel them. They need to feel you. But if it's a regular business that you want, not a few one-off events, then you need to create your own team. Right? Now, this team, this is a vital piece here, is part of the community that you are targeting naturally. So then what happens, right, is that you're building, right? You're building your network, you're building your reputation, you're building your business around the community by finding, let's call them players, shepherds, in that community who are loyal to you. Right? Now, sometimes this is a paid position. Where I was, we were able, to enroll people that weren't being paid. They might get a guest list. We offer them something else, like a special night where we look after those partners who've been looking after us. We make that a special night. Could be a special type of membership that they get. So they are definitely acknowledged, cherished, and loved, right? And we show them that, right? But let's just step onto a restaurant now. So they probably think a restaurant cafe, how does this work with that? We haven't got a guest list. We haven't got drink vouchers, how does that work? Well, here's how it works. So with a cafe, for example, it's the same thing. Restaurant is the same. What bar is the same. You're looking for people who are in your community, who are connected to the customer, the audience that you have, that you're going for, that you want. And they're a fabric of that. And they're in a position to point people in your direction. They're shepherds, right? Why is it that a restaurant can't be run in the same way? Right? I know people are so busy jumping onto influencers, right? I've got to get this influencer in. I've got to make my food look pretty and get them. All vital, all really important. But at the end of the day, if you've got someone who daily, every day, right, is pushing your business, to their customers because they love you, they love what you do, you have a great concept, you know your customer, you combine with a great team, you have continuity of service, they're going to love referring people to you. Why? Because then they look good, they feel good. by this time, there's probably a great relationship there. And what do friends want other friends to do? Well. We want our friends to do well. So that's why we keep on championing their business, right? So these are the areas which I take, clients through, how I guide people through. I'm not even onto the online stuff yet, right? That's another bag, but I'm just giving you this offline model because it still holds a lot of weight, because at the end of the day, if you put your hand on somebody, right, or a hug, and you have eye contact, there's a smile that's genuine, right? You have a good service, a good product. You know what that one thing is that you excel in. You can sell other things, but you know that one thing. They're going to come back. They're going to tell their friends, whether it's using one of these to tell their friends, whether it's using this or something else, right? And so, in closing up this part here, so if you're just joining us now, Instagram Live probably, just letting you know that my name is Robert Ian Bonnick, and I specialize in helping hospitality groups, large and small businesses, clubs, restaurants, bars, shopping mall, right? How to create strategy, a concept, customer, knowing what they are, combining it with an incredible team, continuity of service that you offer, and how to, connect to that community. And this is what I love doing, what I specialize in doing for many years, working all over the world, working with some of the best companies in the world, also co-founding, my own, one of which, working with Antonio, Paul, Justin, was Virgin number 3 in the world. So it's 2,000 events, 1.5 million people that it attracted, of which I personally greeted and, presided over. So during that time, I've worked with some of the most amazing operators in the world: Italy, London, Sydney, Zurich. Been all over the place. Australia, of course, other parts of Australia. And so this is what I'm giving you a knowledge share on. I'm here in Bali, Indonesia, which is a beautiful place, which has been very powerfully impacted, like most places have around the world, through tourism. And so, it's great, when you have an industry, which has quality offerings, that looks after people's safety, well-being, and services us. Because at the end of the day, we all need to go out, not all of us, but most of us need to go out, connect with other people, have fun in a safe environment, eat great food, drink amazing drinks and cocktails and all the rest of that. So that's what I love about it. And for me, the one thing which I haven't spoken about yet, which is the thing that drives everything together, is your why. What is your why? So for me, as I mentioned before, my favorite C of the 5 C's is the last one, which is about connection to community. And I've grown, advised communities all over the world, thousands to tens of thousands and up. And why I love it is because at the age of 12, and growing up in 2 children's homes in London, a very brutal racist attack, racially motivated attack. In the aftermath of that, I got a very clear understanding of what my role was, or what my mission was in life. And that mission was acting as a bridge between different cultures, ideologies, religiosities, backgrounds, cultures, languages, sexes, races, and all the rest of that. Because I realized there and then, at my core, 2 things. One, that we inspire one another. Number 2, is that, we all have our own individual incredible story, but at the fundamental root and essence of it, we all want 4 or 5 things. You want to be loved, acknowledged, seen, fulfilled in what we're doing, and accepted. We all want that, right? So in this children's home where I grew up, on a Sunday afternoon, in the back garden most Sundays. It was like Switzerland, you know. We would have 30, 40 people in the backyard, all different cultures, races, backgrounds, in a time of racism, sexism, classism. We had incredible conversations and people connecting like they were one being, like they were one person. And this powerfully impacted me, combined with that experience, that very brutal attack. And, you know, so what I realized was that, you know, like putting events, putting on parties, attracting people together, whether it's clubs, bars, restaurants, events, you have a really powerful opportunity to unite people with things that we all love. Who doesn't love music, right? Very few people, you know, when you dance, when you listen to music, you know, like it doesn't matter what color you are, what shirt you're wearing. This is a crazy shirt, I know. It doesn't matter about any of that, does it? Because you're enjoying it. And you have like minds around you who are enjoying it. And you don't think of, you know, this guy as a color, or this guy as a this, or this guy or this girl as a that. You're just enjoying the moment. So I love those moments. I love uniting, inspiring humanity, which is why I became a coach, a speaker, and an author. And I work on many different projects, maybe too many, which inspire humanity, that create connection, understanding, empathy. I love empathy. And SpeakuP Monday, if you haven't tuned in yet, just check out SpeakuP Monday group. You know, it's a Q&A that I do. We're up to number 120 something. It's been more than 2 years, every Monday, providing a deep dive Q&A that unlocks wisdom, inspiration, and empathy in others, from captains of industry, entrepreneurs, coaches, leaders in all different areas. I love doing it because that's my thing. That's my why. That's why I can jump on here and chat to you guys for an hour or whatever it's been about hospitality. Because, you know, it's something that for me has been incredibly important, because it's created a global network for me, which I still love and admire and rely upon today. Right? I had 16,200 numbers in my phone by 22. You know, this is the power of this stuff. Hospitality industry is powerful, man. It creates a bridge for humanity. That's what hospitality is to me. It's a bridge for humanity. And that's why, you know, when it's like, you know, Tomorrow Gallery, you know, incredible place. If you're here in Canggu, Bali, if you're a family, you know, during the day, you know, it's the only or the first edutainment-focused retail shopping village, right, where you can spend the whole day. Your kids can do an inordinate amounts of entertainment and recreation. Mum and dad can chill, retail, food therapy, retail therapy, and all of that. Then at night time, when the families are kind of gone, you know, then there's Vault that you can get to, right, and dance the night away. And there's obviously, you know, you've got Vault, the bunker, the bar, and now, you know, we've got Golden Monkey coming, you know, different other restaurants. And as we get through this time where we can have activities going on, you know, then you're going to have this nighttime vibe coming in, you know, which will then service those other nighttime tribes, right? So all of these things, you know, they seem so, you know, I'm doing working on a project, not conservation, sustainability project, you know, at the moment as well. So there's different projects, but they all connect, because it's always about inspiring humanity, and that's what I love to do. And hospitality industry gives you an incredible opportunity to do that on all sorts of levels, right? So like during this, I'm going to check my phone. What's the time? Ooh, 6:30. Cool. So that's good. Where I said about 30 minutes. So that's awesome. So we're going to begin to wrap this up, because it's been an hour, and I said 45 minutes to 60 minutes. So if anything of what I've said has resonated with you, and you're thinking, you know, like, I need more clarity on this or more clarity on that, feel free to reach out to me, Robert Ian Bonnick, right? Robert, just think of a Scotsman. Robert Ian Bonnick, right? So Robert Ian Bonnick. I'm on all of the social media feeds. Reach out to me, send me a DM. Join those groups, SpeakuP Monday group. It's an incredible group for SpeakuP Monday. Or turn your story into a profitable business and brand. So turn your story into a profitable business and brand. Loads of nuggets of wisdom and upliftment going into those groups. So I spend a lot of time, and the team, a lot of time putting some great stuff in there. And again, if there's something I can help you with in a consultant role, let me know. I mean, there's a lot of experience which I have on creating communities, events, on creating these products and projects which inspire humanity, that draw us in, that bring people together, right? Which inspire people, right? That connect people. These are the things which I love to do in whichever guise that takes. So yeah. So if you want to reach out for those reasons, feel free to connect to me. That I would love to work with you. Now, take a breath. Been talking for an hour. Going to take a little bite of coffee here. A Tropical Nomad. Tropical Nomad, by the way, is where we shoot all of our footage, all the SpeakuP Mondays and these ones. So if you're in the area, feel free to come on in. If you're in Tomorrow Gallery area, Genesis Creative Center, George and the guys there are an amazing bunch of people. That's two incredible groups, right? Tropical Nomad, Genesis Creative Center, here in Canggu, Broward. One's in Canggu, one's in Broward. Check them out. Both amazing at what they do. Now, drawing this one to a close. So remember those 5 C's, okay? The 5 C's, right? So concept, knowing your concept. Think longevity. Number 2, customer. Know who your customer is. Create that avatar. What is it go deep. What is it that they want to feel? Right? What is it they want to feel? Don't just think that you know it all and people are going to love it and we're going to go. Test. Talk to people, get on the phone, meet people up in person, right? And find out what it is that people want, and find out what it is your customer wants. So you build up that picture of them, right? Then combine, right? Remember the team. Know those different elements of the business. Front of house, back of house, products, finance, like these are some of the key areas, and make sure that the people that you're enrolling have got either the experience, or if you have someone who can mentor them, someone like me or someone like that, for example, and they have the right attitude, bring them on board. Beware of those guys who know it all, who are jaded, but know it all. These guys, by the way, you don't want. If they're jaded know-it-alls, look at their last 2 or 3 businesses, and that would tell you the story, right? Better that you don't hire them. Move on to somebody else, right? Maybe someone, as I mentioned before, who maybe doesn't have the experience, but has that love, has that passion, has that natural aptitude to do those things, right? So that's a combine. Then continuity. Make sure that what you offer has continuity, right? And going back to the concept, what is the one thing that you do really, really well, better than anybody else, right? Especially if you're a restaurant, what's your dish? You can have other dishes, but what is your dish is the funnel that brings people into your ecosystem, right? This one, as I mentioned before, we haven't got time to go into all the social media and all the rest of that. That's for another day. And then the final thing is about connection to your community, right? So how do you connect to your community? Today, I outlined some offline strategies. Again, online is for another day, guys, but offline strategies, because I feel that these are still some of the most powerful strategies to truly enroll, to truly engage, to truly hug people, right? In all senses of the word, right? More so, the online is so important, but even, like we're human beings, guys. We're designed to connect with one another. We're designed to influence one another. We're designed to persuade one another, right? And we're emotional beings. And emotional beings need to connect. All right, guys? So look, thank you so much for joining me. If you feel like you want to share this, feel free to share it to anyone in the hospitality industry. There are some fundamental keys which I've outlined today that no matter if you're in a bar, a club, a restaurant, a cafe, that will be important for you to look at to ensure that you've got it covered. All right, and thanks again to the team here at Tropical Nomad. We've got Bella today and Guzman, who are here orchestrating and making sure that all of this flows together in a really smooth and beautiful way. So guys, I will see you on the next one. Remember, 5:30 next Tuesday. I think we've got 3 more left. Check the social media to see what's coming next. And I look forward to seeing you then. Lots of love. Have a great rest of your day or night or morning, and I'll see you the next time. Thank you very much indeed. Love from Bali, Indonesia.